Hello world, what is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and we are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. Now, our next guest is one of the best-selling children's authors in history. Way back in 1992, his Goosebumps book series kicked off with Welcome to Dead House, and now, nearly 25 years later, Goosebumps is one of the best-selling children's series of all time. 350 million English-language books in print, plus another 50-something million international copies in another 24 languages. Dude, it is crazy. Now, before him, my childhood was all Garfield compendiums and video game strategy guides. His books were the first I wanted to read, nay, collected. So an argument could be made that he's the very reason I'm even able to read this teleprompter right now. It goes without saying, I'm honored and excited because here to tell us all about the latest movie, Goosebumps 2, Haunted Halloween, available now on digital. The great RL Stine is in the building. How about that, people? Make some noise. Come on. RL Stine is here. All right? Man, I'm excited. We're going to bring him out in just a second. But first, before we do, I believe we have a trailer for the film. So let's go ahead and run that clip.
Starting to look like Halloween around here.
I don't think this place is giving out candy.
Haunted Halloween.
Did you miss me?
You discovered a walking, talking dummy and you didn't tell me?
Okay, well, he seemed like a really nice guy at the start. They're moving.
So tiny and cute, what can they possibly do? Sonny, they're just gummy bears.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. The great RL Stine is right here. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you why I'm especially glad to be here today.
Tell me.
This is why I'm especially glad. I did a book signing a couple weeks ago, and a teacher came up to the table, and she said, "Can I have my picture taken with you? The kids all think you're dead."
Well,
So that's why I'm especially glad to be here.
Because
Yeah.
now you have another something to point to and say, here we are, irrefutable proof, RL Stine, alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good thing to have.
No, I don't know. I'm having a bad day, though, because
Are
I was walking into the building, and a woman stopped me outside, and she said, "Did anyone ever tell you you look a lot like R.L. Stine? No offense." She said, "No offense." Right? That's
does
pretty
that
bad,
mean?
right? I know. That's bad.
Why say the no offense?
Yeah.
Well, I think you look wonderful. I'm excited you're here.
You're very kind.
I'm excited to have you on this stage. As I said earlier, I'll say it again, it is an honor to have you with us. And
thank you.
Your books have been a very, very big part of my youth growing up for a lot of people. All week we've been talking about it, looking at our favorite covers and stuff. So it's very exciting that you're here. Welcome to the show.
Good. Man, we're still going.
Yeah.
26 years of Goosebumps. It's hard to believe, right? I just signed on to write 6 more.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, I'm working on one called, a Slappy book called The Dummy Meets the Mummy.
Love it.
That's the next one.
And the Slappy books, it's Goosebumps Slappy's world now because he spiked in popularity with these
He
films,
was so
right?
popular in the film. I think I've written 14 Slappy books.
Wow.
That's a lot, right?
That's a ton of Slappy
It
books.
doesn't get easier thinking of a plot for a dummy that comes to life and no one knows it, and then they do know it. And that's it. That's how many plots are there, right?
That's where you start.
I'm in trouble here.
Well, that was one of my big questions is, after 26 years of writing these books and doing so many of them, have you ever, if only for a brief, terrifying moment, thought, oh no, I'm out of ideas? Has it happened at least once for a minute?
Not till this moment.
Nope, here we are. Okay.
No, I just thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
No,
Please don't make me be that person. That's not how I want to be remembered.
No, it hasn't gotten any easier, I have to admit, but I'm very lucky. Anytime I need an idea, I have it. I don't know. It's the only thing I'm good at. Yeah. You could ask my wife.
Well, you are pretty good at it. I'll say that for sure. And so congratulations. Another Goosebumps movie, which is wonderful. Goosebumps 2. It's on digital now.
It turned out good.
It turned out pretty good.
You never know.
It's great.
I know. I got lucky. Both movies turned out okay.
They're pretty okay. I'd say they're wonderful.
Yeah, well, you never know.
No, it's true.
You know,
it's hard to make a good movie.
Could have been horrible.
They certainly could have been. They're not.
Been.
That's the fun part, because I walked out of these movies. They make me feel, when I was a kid, not since I saw like a Jumanji or something, where this fantastical world comes to life and takes over the town. It's a brilliant idea. I had read somewhere, and I think you said you weren't supposed to reveal this, but the first movie, it took 20 some odd years. It was the 17th script, I believe I read somewhere. Is that right?
Yeah, the 20 years is another whole story.
Yeah.
But the script that they used for the first Goosebumps film was the 17th script. Can you imagine?
That's wild.
I can't. I don't know.
Do you remember anything about the prior 16?
I never read them. I never
they
saw
only
them.
came to you when they said this is
when
worth
they had
doing.
the idea. Here's the thing: they spent a long time trying to figure out which book should we do, which book would make a full-length movie, and they didn't like anything they came up with. And then somebody had the idea to have R.L. Stine, a character in the movie,
It's brilliant.
and his characters escape from the books, and R.L. Stine has to round them up again. And once they had that idea of not doing an actual book, then they started to get scripts that they liked.
Started doing a story around
And
the
then-
stories. Were you
that's
nervous at all when they said, you're going to be a character in the movie?
I wasn't nervous about it. I was dumbfounded. It's so weird. What a weird thing to be a character in a movie.
You spend your whole life
And then
writing
they started
about...
talking about, who should play me in the film. And they were talking to various people. I didn't know. I asked my son, Matt, I said, who do you think should play me in the Goosebumps film? He said, Morgan Freeman. So...
Take my money now. I would pay to see that. Yes.
I know. And then they were talking to Jack Black, and then a bunch of people on Twitter said, well, you should play yourself. Who knows you better than you? You should play yourself in the Goosebumps movie. Yeah. And I went to my wife, Jane, and I said, Jane, a lot of people think I should play myself in the Goosebumps movie. And she said, you're too old to play yourself. How horrifying is that, right? Too old to play yourself. And of course, she was right. Yeah.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, of course. So Jack is perfect. Jack is perfect.
Jack is fantastic in the films.
And he's a great guy, too.
You said, aside from the 17 scripts, that 20 years is a whole other story. I thought when I was a kid and this TV show came on, I remember getting excited. I was like, well, surely a movie can't be far from behind if the TV show's here. That's what I thought. How early on did you guys try to make a film? What was that?
Well, you never know what's going on out there in L.A., We had a movie deal, actually, with Fox. And Tim Burton was assigned to it. He was supposed to produce the film. It was going to be Tim Burton's Goosebumps movie.
Oh my, that would have.
And we went out and had a big meeting and talked with Tim. What should we do? And a big meeting, and everyone was happy. And then he got involved with some kind of Superman project, doing Superman, and forgot about Goosebumps, and it never happened.
It just went away like that.
That was it for the next 20 years. You never know out there. I'm so glad to be in New York and to be writing books.
Well, it's certainly a different process. Both collaborative in their own ways, but the
No,
books,
I don't like to collaborate.
You don't like to collaborate at all? You have an editor or anything?
I'm married to my editor.
Right, of course.
I'm actually married to my editor.
Is that not a collaboration of sorts?
It's a nightmare. Nightmare. How would you like to be married to your editor? It's horrible.
I guess, yeah, you get notes at all hours of the day. You get,
Yeah, that's the only thing we fight about.
Yeah. Oh, is it real?
Oh,
Well, that's
plots.
healthy.
We fight about plots all the time. That's it.
Who wins? Most of
I've
the time.
never won.
You never won once.
No, I've never been right.
Don't try to. She knows what she's doing there.
I've never been right. Yeah, it worked out, right?
Obviously.
It worked out okay.
Yeah. Why isn't she up here? Where's it? Why are we
Yeah, I
doing
know.
her?
Why
What's
isn't
going
she?
All right, so talk to me about then. At that point, they come to you. They say, we're going to make a movie. You got a couple of cameos. I spotted them in both. Beyond that, what's your level of involvement with the film? Are you stopping by on set? Did you look at all during the creature development? Like,
No one wants the author around. They don't want the author. That's the last person they want hanging around.
Is that true?
Yeah, of course.
This is your
They
world.
want to make a movie. They don't want the author.
But you didn't.
No, I had
I'm
no
blown away
input.
by
Here's
that.
my input.
Let me see it.
Of course, since I was a character in the film,
Yes.
I had to read the script and see that I was treated, okay. Yeah. So that was that. Here's my whole contribution to the first Goosebumps movie.
Yes.
I had 2 Stephen King jokes removed.
Did you really?
Yeah, that was it. That's my
Were they
whole
at his
contribution.
expense, or you just
Yeah,
like,
they're all, there's a lot of
unnecessary.
people love these Stephen King jokes in the movie where I'm bragging about, he can't write, and which of course that isn't me at all. I would never do that. I'm also a huge fan of his.
Like I said, do you have a relationship with him after over the years?
I met him once. I'm Stephen King for kids, right? And for 30 years, I never met him. I never. And then a year before last, I was at the Edgar Awards, the Mystery Writers Awards here in New York. And he was there, and he came over, and we had a nice conversation. And we talked, and I said, Steve, did you know that a magazine once called me a training bra for you? They called me a literary training bra for Stephen King. And I said, did you know that? He said, yes, I did know that.
I am aware.
Yeah, right.
You guys trade best practices? Did you talk about anything like
No,
that?
the whole conversation was maybe too much. He accused me of using every amusement park plot there is and not leaving any for anyone else.
I was good. Well, in your defense, at the height of the popularity of the book series, and then what's the most you've had to write in the least amount of time? Like when you had to really churn them out, when the pressure was on.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
I mean, at the height of Goosebumps and Fear Street, I was doing the teen series, Fear
Street.
and I had to write a novel every 2 weeks. We had a Goosebumps every month and a Fear Street every month. I had to write 2 novels a month.
Now,
How did I do it? I don't know. I didn't get out much. No, I had to write 2 books a month. I don't know. Now I think about it, I don't know how I did it. I think, I'd been writing for 20 years and no one had noticed. And I think the exhilaration of having this sudden success, it was so exciting. I think that's what kept me going.
When you're in the thick of it and you think back now and you were putting out 2 a month, were you ever worried that the quality would suffer because you're rushing, or were you like in the zone? You were just on fire.
No, I had to. Yeah, we didn't worry about that. I would say to my wife, who's my editor, I said, "Don't worry, the next one will make sense. Don't worry, that one okay. The next one will make sense."
Do you have a number, Fear Street not included, just specifically Goosebumps, how many in total in your lifetime that you've turned out? You're still turning them out now.
Yeah,
But like,
we're
what's
still going.
What's the all
I
series
don't know.
included?
I kind of lost track. I think it's about 150. 150 books.
150 books.
That's a lot of stories.
It's a
isn't it?
ton of stories.
That's why I'm 35 years old. Look at me. Look, I look like
It's taking its
it's
toll.
terrible. Yeah.
Those books come at a price.
Yeah.
All those stories.
Right.
All right, so we know that except for the one moment where I brought it up, you've never thought you were out of ideas. But how do you track? Do you journal? Do you keep a notepad? How do you
No.
keep track of ideas? No, it's just all.
All these people who say, we give advice to writers and say, yeah, keep a notebook and write down. You only need one idea at a time. You don't need a list of 12 ideas.
Yeah.
You only need one, right? And I go one book at a time. The honest truth is now, I've written every story there is. I've done every plot a person could write. So I don't try to think of ideas anymore. I just think of titles. I just think of titles. I don't try to think of an idea. And I was walking my dog in Riverside Park, and these words flashed into my mind. Little Shop of Hamsters. It's a great title, right? Little Shop of Hamsters. So I thought, all right, what is it? How do I make hamsters scary? That's a challenge, right? Do I do 1,000 hamsters or one giant hamster? And you start thinking of it like that, and then the idea develops. But I always just start with titles now.
This is a variation of a timeless internet debate. If you would rather fight, 1,000 ducks? Or no, what is it, 1,000? Does anybody know what I'm trying to remember here? 1,000 horse-sized ducks or one duck-sized horse or something like that. And it seems it's a weird question, but I'm reminded of it as you try to struggle with what is scarier, 1,000 hamsters or one giant hamster? Where did you land?
You try to...
What'd you do?
The boy is trapped in a cage with dozens of hamsters.
There we
He
go.
can't get out.
That's the answer. It's many, not just one large.
Right.
Who would come up with not just the titles, but on the covers back in the day there were little taglines that you would
somebody
have as
at
well.
Scholastic wrote
So that was
those.
somebody at Scholastic?
Yeah, they're wonderful.
I-
She was very talented.
A big part, everyone, huge collaborative process in that regard because just as much as I remember the stories, I remember the covers from them so vividly. And I had pulled a couple that I wanted to take a look at in a second because there was something that they did. Sometimes they would straight up terrify you, and other times they were the most ridiculous thing you'd ever seen. And then other times they were a perfect mix. Now, if we could I have a first one I want to look at here. If we could bring this up and see if it brings back any memories, they're going to pull it in a second.
Yeah.
But it's from How I'm Afraid or Why I'm Afraid of Bees. Do you remember this cover?
I do very well.
Okay. And this cover, we're waiting. They're going to pull it up in a moment here. Do we have it? We're working on it. Okay. So we'll get in a second. I'll describe it because this was one of my favorites. And it's a method we'd see repeated throughout the series. It's the human head on the insect body. And it's hilarious to me. How many?
Listen, we had a wonderful cover artist named Tim Jacobus.
Exactly.
And Tim did the first 62 cover paintings in a row. He did 62 paintings. And he captured the mix of horror and humor. He got that it wasn't that Goosebumps isn't a straight horror series, that it's also funny. And he was able in his covers to do both.
How many rough drafts did you go through? How many things did you have to see? Like, what was that process like?
It worked pretty well. I would be writing the book at the same time he'd be doing the cover painting. So there it is. There's the boy.
Oh, this is fantastic. Look at this. So,
It's good, right?
So what does he get before you receive this back?
I'd be writing the book and I send him down the title. Yeah. He was in New Jersey, I think. And I send him the title and just a paragraph. A boy's terrified of bees. This thing happens. He gets stung. He turns into a bee. He has to spend the night in the hive. That kind of. That's it. And then he would do a cover based on that little paragraph that I sent. And he only messed up once. In all the covers, he only missed once and sent in a cover painting that wasn't appropriate.
Wasn't appropriate?
Yeah. It
What
was
was
wrong for the story.
Oh, okay.
It was say, no, it was wrong for the story. It was say cheese and die.
Oh, no way. That's one of my favorite. We got that one. Hang on,
Yeah?
scroll ahead. I think it's number 3. Go one more. One more. Here we are. Say cheese and die. This is one of my favorites.
Now, this is a book about some kids who find a camera. It's an evil camera. It takes pictures of bad things that happen a short while in the future. And that's what it's about. And Tim sent in this cover, which is a family of skeletons barbecuing. It has nothing to do with the book. Not the book at all. Yeah. No, look, it says just nothing. Yeah. And the editors called me up and they said, Bob, could you put in a scene with some skeletons barbecuing? Because it's too late to change the painting. You can't change the painting, right? And they said, could you? So I have a dream sequence. The boy goes to sleep and he dreams about a family of skeletons barbecuing. And and then the cover made sense. It's the only time that happened.
I had this one stuck out to me as one of my favorites. That's an incredible story. And then there was the follow-up. Go to the next one for me if you can, guys. Sage, I loved this one. Now they got a little dog as well. Look at that. This one was great to me. Between Say Cheese and Die and Say Cheese and Die again, had he consulted you this time? Did we nail this one right out of the gate, or was this another instance?
I don't remember
You
this
don't
cover.
remember?
I have to say, I'm sure it has nothing to do with the story.
How would you decide? First of all, I love this. The title is fantastic. It's one of those ones that just it's perfect in its simplicity.
It just came to me.
Right?
I was in a store. It just came to me.
Do it
just
again.
flashed in, where? Where
I was
does
gonna say, when do you decide to do a sequel? Like with Slappy, it made sense. That
Yeah.
one caught like wildfire. People really attached to that
Yeah,
character.
Night of the Living Dummy.
Night of the Living Dummy, exactly. But otherwise, outside of Slappy, when do you know that you want to do another story?
Sometimes from the mail, they get a good mail response. Sometimes just out of desperation. You say, I don't know, what am I doing? I got to do another. We'll do Deep Trouble 3. Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you get desperate.
Oh, that's amazing. There's one more that I threw in here just because it's absolutely ridiculous. And this one,
Yeah,
chicken.
Yes.
It's a finger-licking nightmare. Whoever's writing those taglines at Scholastic was
Yeah,
really
that
on
was
their
good.
game. This was
This was where a woman puts a curse on these two kids, and they slowly turn into chickens. And it's actually stolen from a Stephen King idea. Is it really? Yeah, because he did a book called Thinner, where the woman puts a curse and the guy gets thinner and thinner. This is the kids' version. They turn into a chicken.
What if they turn into chickens?
Yeah.
You know, we mentioned, thank you for working on that and pulling those together. These are a lot of fun. It's so amazing the types of memories that just the covers and all those bring back for everybody, like I said, around here. Something, and this is a great time to bring it up because you talk about the Stephen King story inspiring Chicken. And we mentioned Fear Street, which you had done. Fear Street was happening before Goosebumps.
Yeah, 1989.
1989, you're doing Fear Street. And Fear Street historically...
Killing off teenagers.
Precisely. It's for a slightly higher age group.
Yeah, teenagers.
There's teenagers books. What did you adjust other than the obvious of killing teenagers? How did you adjust down for Goosebumps when they said this has never been done before?
Yeah, no one had ever done horror for 7 to 12-year-olds, and I had to think about it a lot. I mean, no one ever dies in Goosebumps. Right. We kill them off all the time in Fear Street, but no one ever dies in Goosebumps. If there's a ghost, they were a ghost before the book started, and just the level of violence mainly. And the level of silliness is much higher in Goosebumps. And it's important that the kids have to know it's a fantasy and that it couldn't really happen.
Yeah. Those were the big rules for you, yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference between the two series.
Yeah. Are you guys looking at, now that Goosebumps 1 and Goosebumps 2, they've done so well, are you looking at a Fear Street movie at all? Have those talks been
We have a deal with Fox for 3 Fear Street movies. Yeah, but I don't know. I read the scripts. I read the script. No, I read the scripts. 3 Fear Street movies, and the idea is to bring them out 1 month, June, July, and August, a new Fear Street every month. And so they're working on that at Fox. 3 Fear Street. That's my main thing on Twitter. I hear everyone says, why isn't there a Fear Street TV show? Why you want a Fear Street movie? That's the most asked thing I get. So I hope these movies happen. You never know. You never know out there.
Are you gonna cameo in these as well, you think?
Well, I'm waiting by the phone, but no, I don't know. No, who knows? They're not far enough along.
I got to throw it over to the audience. We got a couple of questions in the room we're going to take before we get out of here. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't remind everybody that Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween, it's on digital right now. So if you haven't seen it yet, you can watch it on digital. If you have seen it, you can watch it again. And if you wait until the 15th, you can get it on Blu-ray and DVD. Tuesday, January 15th. It's going to be out on Blu-ray and DVD as well. So we got a couple of questions. I'm getting the signal here. The first question looks like it's going to be right behind me on the mark over here. Come on over. How you doing?
I'm very good. I grew up reading Goosebumps. They were some of my favorite books that really got me into reading, like you were saying.
That's
I
nice.
was wondering, do you have a Goosebumps book that you're the most proud of? And also, did you ever come up with an idea where you started writing it, but then you decided this is too scary, I'm not gonna do this anymore?
No, well, I outline all the books first, so I throw out outlines sometimes, but I've never thrown out a book that I did. There's a book called "The Girl Who Cried Monster," which is a librarian is a monster, and the girl knows it, and she's watching. And in the original manuscript, the librarian eats a kid. And my editors thought maybe that was going too far. Yeah. So I changed it. I put a bowl of live turtles on his desk. And every once in a while, he reaches out and eats a live turtle, which is better than a kid because it's crunchier, right? It's crunchier. That's the only time I went too far, I think. I guess one I'm very proud of is The Haunted Mask. Yeah. I think that's my best Halloween story, about the girl who wants to be scary and puts on this mask and it sticks to her face and she becomes part of her and it turns her evil. That's the only Goosebumps book based on something in real life. Yeah, you could sit down, but when my son Matt was a little guy, it was Halloween time, and I'm watching him from the doorway. He's down in the room and he's trying on a green rubber Frankenstein mask. And he pulled it down over his head, and he couldn't get it off. And I'm watching, and he's like tugging. And I think, what a great idea. I should have helped him, right? I'm standing there. I didn't help him. No, I thought, what a great idea for a book. And I went and started writing notes. But that's the only one that actually came from real life, that book.
Has he since learned to appreciate that?
He's still in the mask. Poor guy. No, you know my son's claim to fame? He never read a Goosebumps book. Isn't that horrible? He never read one, just to make me nuts, just to make me crazy. He would never read one. He read only Garfield comics.
Really?
His whole childhood. That's all he read.
Those fat, long books?
Yeah, he had all the collections. He read only Garfield. Then he went to college, and he was an English major. Yeah, right.
That's hilarious. I had the same ones as I was talking about earlier. It's those
Yeah.
Garfield books. We've got one left. We're gonna do one more question, and it's gonna come from right over here. Here you are. Go.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Good. I was also a big fan of the Goosebumps books as a kid, and I remember reading The Ghost Next Door and the ending to that book. And then years later, I remember watching The Sixth Sense and thinking, what the hell? I think Goosebumps already did this.
That's right.
So
I already did.
I wanted to know, what you had thought about it.
My wife and I went to see The Sixth Sense, and after 2 minutes, I turned to her, I said, he's dead. And that was it. That was the whole surprise in the movie. I had actually written that 5 times. I'd already written that plot. So it was not a big surprise to me. You're right. That's funny.
Has that happened? Do you find that happens to you often? I mean, having written so many books, written so many stories.
You know, there are only so many stories.
Yeah.
No,
How
it's
frequently
nice.
do you walk into a movie and go, I know what's going on here. I did this. Yeah.
There's a real best-selling book called The Girl in the Window.
Yeah.
Do I have that right?
I think so.
It's a big bestseller. And it's sort of it has in it, it's very well written and very clever. And it's been on the bestseller list for over a year. Is it the Woman in the Window? And I've done every single thing in that book. The guy in Fear Street. I've done every single. I'm not putting the book down.
No.
It's fine. But I did every single trick in there.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's
nice thing.
Yeah, well, exactly. You think about it, it's really hard to put a number on or measure how many people your books have influenced, especially with so many millions and all over the world. How many people have read them? How many people read because of them? It's got to be a big thing.
It's a wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful
I feel very
thing.
lucky.
Yeah.
I'm a very lucky guy.
Yeah, well, you're a really cool dude, man. You're a really nice guy, and I'm really excited that you had some time to come and hang out with us today. It was really nice having you
fun.
here. And thank you for all the awesome stories that you shared. I want to thank you guys for being a great audience. You had wonderful questions. You're just very attentive. You're an attractive audience. I think we had a lot of fun here.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap things up one more time. I'll remind everybody out there: Halloween, Haunted Halloween, Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. It's on digital right now, and on the 15th you'll find it on Blu-ray and DVD. One more time. Let's make a ridiculous amount of noise. This is RL Stine, everybody. Come on, let's go.